Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ranbir Singh. I'm from Global Migrations, and I'm a migration agent by profession. So the reason for presenting this video to you is to talk about a common scenario nowadays, which is the no further stay condition on visas. My video today specifically would talk about the visitor visas, the visitors who are stuck here due to this condition on their visa, and how to get out of it. So just to give you an overview about no further stay condition, it's applicable to other visas as well. But as I said, we are going to be talking about visitor visas today. So it's a condition which is applicable on visitor visas where you cannot apply for most of the visas unless this condition is waived or unless you get a waiver of this condition. So to give you an example, someone on a visitor visa wants to apply for another visitor visa and they've got a no further stay condition on their current visa, they'll have to have this condition waived off before they can apply for another visitor visa. So let's talk about what we need to do to request a waiver if you've got this condition. So very first thing you'd have to do is fill up a form, and I've just circled it right now. It's form 1447. It's a pretty straightforward form. I'll just go through the form itself. So obviously it's going to talk about your family name, your given name, if you've been known by other names, pretty basic info, your date of birth, your passport number, country of passport, visa, the kind of visa you hold currently. It's a subclass 600, which is a visitor visa. Your date of arrival, I've just circled it. Important, just make sure you have a look at your the stamped pages on your passport to have a look at what date did you last arrive in Australia. And then it talks about the visa expiry, which you can get from your visa grant letter. It would have your visa expiry date. And again, some pretty basic info, your current residential address, your address for correspondence if it's different from your residential address. But technically, most of the correspondence are sent by emails only. Your mobile phone number, your email address. If you received any assistance in completing this form, if it's a no, then you can go to question 14, and we'll head to question 14 straight away. All written communications about this request should be sent to, obviously you'll hit myself. Now comes the important part, number 15, what to write in the reasons for waiver. Look, I've just given an example, which is written here. Feel free, by all means, to copy the wording from here. If you've got a better wording than this, by all means, use the wording that actually fits your circumstances or suits your circumstances. In this case, we are giving the reason as the coronavirus or COVID-19. So I guess this is more relevant. So we'll talk about the questions. Give details of the major change in your circumstances that has developed since the grant of your visa. So this question talks about, explain us a bit as to why you want a waiver, what has changed. So obviously, everyone knows at the moment what has changed. I'll read it out. We arrived in Australia on a certain date. The developments in the spread of coronavirus since December 2019 have been quite concerning. Both India and Australia are in a complete lockdown. Maybe you can change this and write, India is under a complete lockdown and Australia is pretty much is. With strict travel restrictions imposed on both citizens and non-citizens. There are hardly any flights operating from Australia to India, which we know is a fact. And citizens arriving in India are subject to strict self-isolation rules. It's again a fact. The advisory from both the countries is to avoid all non-essential travel. So again, very factual, straight to the point, and you've highlighted what the reason is. So we'll come to the second part. Give reasons why you had no control over these circumstances. It sounds, like a basic question. Of course, you can write anything basic, like it is quite evident that the spread of coronavirus pandemic was completely beyond anyone's control. Very factual. No one knew that this is coming. and eventually it happened, so you can't travel. Now, the third one, give details of why your circumstances are compassionate and compelling. So it's asking why are there exceptional reasons for you to be eligible for the waiver. So I'll use this wording for someone who was around 56 years of age. Of course, I'm telling you that I'm not 56 years of age, a bit younger than that. All right. So I'll read it out. This is what I've written. You can feel free to edit it or write in your own words. I'm 56 years of age, and at this stage in my life, I want to take all necessary precautions to avoid contracting the deadly virus. Although I'm not amongst the high-risk category, the World Health Organization has clarified that coronavirus could be fatal for all age groups. Again, very factual. I can assure you that I would have had no issues departing from Australia if the conditions were normal. I believe that considering the current global spread, it makes complete sense to avoid all unnecessary travel. So again, pretty straightforward, to the point. As I said, you can use any wording which suits your circumstances. Visa subclass you intend to apply for. If you want to apply for another visitor visa, go for 600. And then comes again the important part, what documentary evidence should you attach along with this? So it would be a certified copy of your passport. Again, you can attach medical certificates if they're relevant in your case. Any family relationship, if someone has sponsored you, or any nears and dears who are going to provide an invitation letter in your next visitor visa. Certified copies of supporting documentation. So what I recommend, and you can add whatever is relevant to your case, is obviously newspaper reports, which would be highlighting the circumstances in your home country, which could be India, any other country, highlighting that there's been a lockdown and why you can't travel. Another thing to attach would be the Vivo records. So this is an online record on the immigration website of what visa you hold and when it expires. Of course, it has your name and other details on it. And any other relevant document, all right, which you deem fit for your case, all right. So any other relevant document could be a support letter from a family member who has sponsored you, could be anything which strengthens your case. And again, the important part, last but not the least, of course, your signature and the date. Of course, the date is not current, I'm sorry, but yeah, the current date. So that was all about filling the form 1447, which specifically relates to the no further stay waiver request. Now, another thing I wanted to add here was where would you be sending this information, or where you should be sending this information. I'll just quickly highlight it here, and it's on the immigration website as well. So the email is no further stay waiver request at homeaffairs.gov.au. I've just highlighted it. It's no further stay waiver request at homeaffairs.gov.au. And I know it's a pretty long name for an email address, but that's where you need to send this information. So guys, this was pretty much about how to get a no further stay waiver request. Once again, this is Ranbir from Global Migrations. I believe I've checked all the boxes in terms of what needs to be done, but I would love to hear from you guys, your feedback regarding this video, and if you believe that this video is or could be of some value to someone else, please feel free to forward it or share it. If you have any questions regarding this, more than happy to answer your questions. My contact number is 0433 840 304. I repeat, it's 0433 840 304. So that was it from me today, and I'll see you soon with an important update. Thank you so much for watching this video, and